A very good evening and a warm welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight on this 21st day of March 2024. I'm Loreen Masika Kazimoto. We have breaking news and we have a new cabinet list. Now, in a statement issued today, it was announced that by virtue of the authority invested in the President of Uganda by Articles 108, subsection 2, 108A, section 1, 113, section 1, the Constitution of Uganda, a slightly amended list of the Cabinet of Uganda has been published, and the top cabinet posts, including the Vice President, Prime Minister, remain intact. Now, looking at some of the notable changes, we see from State Minister for Mineral Development, now we see as Minister for Karamoja Affairs is Honorable Peter Lokeris. Another notable change that we have seen is from State Minister of Defense to now full Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs is Honorable Oboth Maxon Jacob. We also see a new entrance into the cabinet, and that is under the Minister of State of Office of the Prime Minister under the Relief and Disaster Preparedness and Refugees. We see Woman MP of Kitgum, Honorable Lillian Abe, who replaces Esther Anyakun, who has been moved to State Minister for Labour and Employment under the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. We've also seen a change from being Principal Private Secretary of the President, that is Dr. Omona Kenneth. Now he's been appointed Minister of State of the Office of the Prime Minister in Northern Uganda. Another new entrance right here. Honorable Wamala taking on Minister of State, Office of the Prime Minister for Karamoja. That is Honorable Wamala Nambozo Florence, who is also Woman MP of Sironko District. Another change in the cabinet, we see Honorable Sarah Mateke, who was State Minister for Youth, now taking on Minister of State for Defense and Veteran Affairs. And as we said, most of the major cabinet positions are still intact, but also more new entrants. We see Honorable Nyamutoro Fiona, who was a youth MP, now taking on Minister of State for Energy and Minerals Development. And one interesting new entrant into the cabinet under the Minister of State for Gender, Labour and Social Development under Youth and Children Affairs, we do see Mr. Balam Barugahara taking on this particular position. So a very big congratulations to the new entrants into the new cabinet. Now we start off. The President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has issued a stern warning to government school head teachers and school management committees to immediately halt the practice of soliciting illegal fees from parents, saying those that don't comply will be dealt with. The President's remarks come amidst ongoing concerns about schools charging unauthorized fees despite government programs like universal primary education and universal secondary education guaranteeing free education. Museveni said this while addressing residents of Lwengo at Mbirizi Seed School, where he graced the fundraising event for District Muslim Headquarters and Health Center 4.
Uganda yatweno etuse bitundu 75 ku 10 nsaba kutegeeza President wange nti waliwo obuzibu obuliwo obutawaanya health sector, naye ng'obuzibu obwo tebugamba si wakubanja ebintu eddagala terijja era toliweereza, naye waliwo enkola abakozi ba gavumenti naddala mu malwaliro n'erayini eyo yonna engeri gye babuzaamu obuweereza. Kasero nayimirako omukazi ne bannange ne tukwata bannaddiini abo yensonga lwaki gwolabye wanakusabidde ye disitulikiti amiiru ate yakuyise ye disitulikasi nowena Kasero naye waali fe tukolera wamu twagala ddiini eyawukanye kubanga fena tusinza Mukama Katonda y'omu zenga omwana w'omusomesa katikisiti kana wange yansomesa naŋŋamba Katonda ali atya ona w'abasiraamu ye Katonda w'abakulisaayo ye w'abalokole ate ye w'abakatuliki
bali mu bamanyira bakola mirimu gya kusaaza buli kaseera babeera ku muzikiti abo wali mu bo the catechist abawule beera nabo mikwano gyange era obalaba bonna wano bwe bali naye babeera baavu olw'obudde obutono balina okuziika abafudde balina okugatta abawasa balina okubeera mu kyaki okubeera muzikiti obudde ne bubula n'abaana baabwe batono abasoma Your Excellency n'entandikawo sako y'abayimaamu abawalimu era sako eyo nebaza kunalibosise namujju yatuteeramu miliyoni 15 yaŋŋamba yazijja mu ofisi ya Prime Minister wali akasente yaŋŋamba nti ka PCA Parish Community Association n'atuleeta natuwe miliyoni 15 sebo nga njagala abawalimu bo balunde embuzi era abawalimu b'Erwengo nkukakasa baatandika okulunda embuzi era bw'ogenda mu maka gaabwe osangayo embuzi kiri ku likodi naye ba extension workers bakimanyi kubanga ffe abasiraamu ku nyama okimanyi naddala ku yidi awo bwetuuka buli yidi eri enkulu eya hijja tewali musiraamu atasala mbuzi n'olwekyo era zirina akatale kangi tuzitunda abantu ne basobola okufunamu akasente sebo Your Excellency gwe nanyini sente nanyini nte nanyini mbuzi nkusaba otufunire embuzi waakiri 10 tuzigabire abasiraamu bange abawalimu bange babe nga basobola nabo okulunda embuzi ezo bakulaakulane Your Excellency ez'olulyo Your Excellency
foundation bodies eziriko abakulu baffe ababadde wano eziriko n'abazadde bo ekiragiro kyo bakiziimuula ne bajjako abazadde baffe ssente abaana baffe ne balimu okusoma ne basigala mu byalo.
Therefore, those who are bringing back charges in government schools are making a very big mistake.
Abagezaako okukomyawo okusasula ensimbi ez'amasomero mu masomero ga gavumenti bakola musango gwa naggomola.
Let the children study free.
Abaana mbaleke basomere bwereere.
We have discussed it in the government.
Tukibaganyizaako ebirowoozo mu gavumenti.
During the corona,
mu biseera bya ssenyiga lumiimamawuggwe
we had a lot of challenges.
twafuna okusoomozebwa kungi nnyo.
We had so many things to do.
Twalina ebintu bingi nnyo ebyokukolako.
We could not come those who were opposing our policy.
Twali tetuyinza kukambuwalira abo abaali babakanya enkola yaffe.
Abaali baseketerera.
Abaali bagiseketerera nga baagala okugiremesa. Bagala kutandika na kuwaayo miliyoni za Uganda oba obukadde 2 mukikubire mu ngalo.
Now, if that money is not enough,
ezo sente bwe zinaaba tezimala,
whatever you collect,
naffe ze tunaaba tukuŋŋaanyizaawo,
you let me know.
muntegeeze,
I will add on.
nja kwongerako.
All the
The First Lady, also Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, has urged women in Ntungamo district to take advantage of the parish development model to chase poverty in their homesteads. Janet Museveni says through collective effort, stereotypes can be challenged. This was her speech delivered by the State Minister for Luero Rwenzori, Alice Kaboyo, at the celebration of Women's Day for Ntungamo district.
celebrated the Women's Day with an appeal to governments to fight stereotypes in women. Presiding over the celebrations at Chizinga in Ngoma Sub-County, the First Lady Janet Kataha M7, represented by State Minister for Luwero Rwenzori Triangle Alice Kaboyo. Kataha advised women to take advantage of PDM and fight poverty.
Encouraging that women's economic empowerment is not a woman's issue, but an issue of national concern to all Ugandans. This is due to the fact that each woman's economic success eventually benefits society by lowering poverty rates at both the family and national levels.
She says that government should continue to provide legal policy framework to develop women economically.
I would like to use this opportunity to encourage women and men with the requisite skills and expertise to help boost women's economic empowerment by participating in supportive mechanisms such as leadership training and mentorship programs.
According to First Lady, with collective effort, the challenge of stereotypes can be eliminated.
I believe that through a concerted and collective effort, we can challenge stereotypes and shape Africa culture so that women are valued and respected for their unique, respective and contributions to the family and national development.
The district woman legislator Jocelyn Kamateneti appealed to all wishers to contribute for and set up a maternity ward at the border of Uganda and Rwanda.
Kandi chinkamya chairman tukwatireho kuba na government na twaplaninga ekyakusubmitinga ministry ntichongereraho obundi kikorwa no kushaba government ngwirwaro ryiti rya Ngoma babase kuritugarikiramu okuba abantu bakunu nibinji munonga tureke kurinde box zabo zijira karuru konka bakirwara bakabaranda ko mu kibira kucebereza.
The chairperson of Women Council in Intungamo applauded President M7 for favoring women in high-profile positions.
President to appoint the women, it's good that the women are honest. At least they can stay without stealing that money and distribute to their respective districts.
At the same event, there was a fundraising to build Chizinga Hospital and 100 million has been raised, both in cash and pledge. On this, First Lady contributed 50 millions. Shaidat Nasaku, Andrew Sebira, UBC News.
Parliamentary Committee of Defence and Internal Affairs has tasked the Ministry of Internal Affairs to come up with a comprehensive approach for prevention of human trafficking. The officials from the Ministry of Internal Affairs revealed to Parliament that about 600 million boost is needed to effectively upgrade the trafficking persons database for safe, orderly migration in Uganda.
The Ministry of Internal Affairs has engaged with the Parliamentary Committee of Defence and Internal Affairs to discuss the ministry's budget proposals and priorities for the next financial year 2024 to 2025.
Our expectation is that the balance of Uganda shilling 366.865 billion for mass registration and renewal is to be provided in the financial year 2024-2025.
The ministry was tasked to explain the matters relating to the human trafficking, especially the status of Ugandans trapped in Myanmar. The State Minister for Internal Affairs, David Muhoozi, however, told the committee that most information is received after the victims land on wrong hands. General Muhoozi calls for a concerted approach involving respective ministries to solve the issues.
Does your unit have an intelligence section that collects information beforehand? Because now we are discussing post-mortem. How did this number of people, 400, leave the country when we can immediately 2 ADF rebels have entered Uganda? All over, you are saying 2 have entered. We know their telephone number. They have passed here. And 400 have left Uganda, Ugandans.
I wonder why there are no arrests of the people who take our young people to such countries and deliver them in the hands of mafias who use them for scamming.
We interrogate, yes.
Honorable Chair, the Minister must come out with a concrete program,
yes,
for prevention.
Yes.
Because prevention is better than cure.
Documents, I'm told, especially in some of these countries, which is illegal. So we need even MOUs between government and where they are going. And that, I think, is work in progress between the relevant ministries. Now, when it comes to trafficking of persons, major issue in the country, unfortunately, even in the instance of this Myanmar thing, the victims, you get to know the victims at the end state.
In the budget estimates for the forthcoming financial year 2024-2025, additional 600 million Uganda shillings is needed to upgrade the trafficking persons database for safe orderly migration.
The issue of the use and abuse of technology, giving rise to more victims of trafficking. There is an urgent need to upgrade the trafficking in persons database to an online one.
The ministry officials also presented to the committee the challenges and recommendations for restructuring and rationalization of the ministry.
We plan to implement the Narcotics and Psychotropic Substance Act 2023, which is to be followed by development of relevant regulations, operationalization of structures such as the Secretariat, Narcotics Committee and Board. This creates a need for an additional 10 billion in the first year of implementation.
Lydia Chomkama and Gloria Gutabinji, Parliament.
December last year, the United States struck Uganda off the list of beneficiaries of the African Growth Opportunity Act, AGOA, since the program's inception in 2000 following a heated-up debate based on gross violations of human rights. According to economists, this would have serious impact on Uganda's economy, citing the blocking of duty-free access to more than 1,800 products that enter the U.S. from sub-Saharan Africa, with Uganda exporting her agricultural goods and textiles. Ever since the issuance of President Joe Biden's decree on December 29th, Uganda would only trade with the U.S. with normal taxes levied on Ugandan products. Numerous engagements have surfaced between Uganda and the U.S. with business and trade experts to see Uganda reconsidered in the AGOA program. Thursday morning, trade experts from the U.S. met the Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development and representatives from Uganda's parliament to discuss avenues on how this can be effected.
We as the business people, we as economists, have left our agenda to be spoken for us by someone else.
That we keep the integrity, whereby even if we have the same products in the region or beyond the region, they will still long for Ugandan products.
There is hope for Uganda to be readmitted into AGOA trade business with the U.S., but various interventions must be put into great consideration.
Uganda needs to engage with the United States Trade Representative's Office. Uganda needs to engage with the U.S. State Department. Uganda needs to engage with all its friends, or the friends it has created over the past few months.
The meeting also put emphasis on harmonizing the collaborative and working relations between Uganda and the U.S., despite Uganda's withdrawal from AGOA, as Dr. Olivier Kamans, the founder African Global Chamber of Commerce, elaborates.
Really to send a message out that Uganda is open for business with U.S. buyers, with U.S. community, anyone who wants to invest in Uganda, they welcome American to invest in Uganda.
Uganda has adjusted to its framework and embarked on a number of structures for development.
From last year, we are growing at 6.5%, and this growth happens regardless of any restrictions, interceptions. It could do better. 5% of our manufactured goods go in the region. That priority is also for the U.S. If you invest in Uganda, you sell in that market.
The chairman, Pastor Odrek Rabwogo, is convinced that Uganda still needs to partner with the U.S.
There's a lot that we buy from the US. We're in negotiations with one of the aircraft companies, for example. So we are not ashamed of standing for our values, but we think that there should be mutual recognition, mutual interest, and we have had a very genuine conversation over the last couple of months, and we're getting somewhere.
Ivan Juko and Stephen Kalisia for UBC.
Don't just focus on
Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, underscored the importance of amending outdated laws to enhance land governance and administration. Mao made these remarks while presiding over the 8th Global Surveyors Day celebrations and the 33rd Annual General Meeting Conference in Entebbe, focusing on reflecting on performance.
Of Uganda have gathered to reevaluate their achievements over the past years. In his address, Minister Mao emphasized the necessity for additional support in reviewing the legal framework to amend absolute laws, aligning them with contemporary trends.
They need to be amended urgently. I want to pledge here that I'm going to volunteer to push for these laws so that the laws can catch up with current and modern trends in the profession, because those laws are critical to the land and built environment.
Resolution processes embedded in the law is quite important and very productive on our side as a profession, because then they can be respected, then they can be taken up, but also it gives the public the understanding that this is a mechanism.
Mao highlighted the ongoing challenge faced by the government in improving land governance and administration, stressing the need for harmonization in the land tenure system.
We need to be able to open boundaries. We need to be able to have people who can value properties, because that is the tool we use when we are compensating people. When investors come to a country, they want a stable land governance system. And the chaos in our land governing system is one of the factors that give investors cold feet.
He also emphasized the importance of unity and cited the late Kaija Katuramu as a role model for defending the institution's reputation.
So your celebration of the great Katuramu is very, very timely.
Aloysius Gonza, president of the Institution of Surveyors of Uganda, outlined several successes achieved by the institution in the recent years.
We actually don't go on land that is not surveyed per se.
Gonza noted that over 20,000 land cases are pending in courts of law, underlining the urgency for effective resolution mechanisms.
It creates a lot of agitation among the parties. Capital is held up, this land cannot be devolved. Investments are held up, the land cannot be invested in, and that alone poses a lot of issues.
As the institution aims to fulfill its goals and objectives, surveyors were urged to adhere to professional codes of conduct and leverage new technologies to combat fraudulent practices. The event also featured the recognition of individuals and institutions with books and certificates of appreciation for their significant achievements. The 8th Global Surveyors Day and Annual General Meeting for 2024 is themed Land and Construction Disputes, Managing and Resolving Disputes in Land, Water and Built Environment, the Surveyors' Role. Shaidat Nasakum, Sulaka Gugube, UBC News.
The National Social Security Fund, in partnership with Enterprise Uganda, have launched a survey report on the performance of benefits and perceptions towards retirement. The survey seeks to give the fund a broader understanding on how the benefits are utilized by the beneficiaries and learning about the quality of life.
Some of the key findings of the NSSF Enterprise Uganda National Beneficiaries Survey include low financial literacy among beneficiaries, high dependency rate for beneficiaries over the age of 45, retirees continue to shoulder immense responsibility over dependents well into retirement, among others.
I would not expect retirees to invest in shares that much. 0 is a surprise, but it is not bad. It is not bad practice. It's actually advisable that at 50, you're not buying shares, because shares are a bit volatile and you have to have a long-term aspect to it. Perhaps maybe MD will speak to why the fund invests in shares, but taking the angle of why retirees should be very skeptical while investing in shares, it's about the volatility and the risk.
This survey seeks to give the fund a broader understanding on how the benefits are utilized and the consequences.
If 60% of people that receive their money, especially for this particular survey, are still in employment, that could be explained by quite a number of factors. But number one is the design of the scheme. NSSF is governed by the NSSF Act. So it details the categories of people that can access their money. So there are certain types of benefits that enable you to access your money even when you are still working. Mid-term is accessed at 45 years of age, even when you are still actively working.
According to the survey, the average amount paid to the beneficiaries was 24 million Ugandan shillings and the average age of the beneficiaries was 50 years. It leads to the question of sustainable investment for retirees.
We have reached a level where you and your money are not going to make it if the government is not doing well with the money it takes from NSSF and us in taxes. There is only that far that you can go. You're not going to make that bridge if it breaks down. Now, it doesn't matter whether you can afford an ambulance. If that bridge is not there, it's not there.
Similar to the 2018 survey, education, housing and land purchase remain the most important priorities for most of the beneficiaries. Another key takeaway from the survey is that family is as important as financial planning.
Now that you're aware that when you produce your children has a direct bearing on your the quality of your retirement. So I think it's something that you now need to take the conversation on the table with your spouse and agree when you can actually have children. But don't wait too long, because we know biologically I think the most productive years or the prescribed are between probably 20 to 40 years.
Laura Nagaba, UBC News.
Stakeholders have underscored the need to address the issue of aflatoxins in cereals due to its negative contribution to malnutrition. According to Commissioner of Food and Nutrition Security in the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Alex Babona, says aflatoxins have high impact on growth in children.
The overall objective of food and nutrition policy is to promote the nutritional status of people through multi-sectorial and coordinated interventions that focus on food security, improved nutrition, and increased incomes. Through specific objectives, the policy was to ensure availability, accessibility, affordability of food in quantities and qualities sufficient to satisfy the dietary, promote good nutrition of all, among others.
Culture and how they are supposed to be the food supplier in our country. But then you find there is excessive use of pesticides in that field, which greatly affect the nutrition and the well-being of the people in the country.
During the multi-stakeholders nutrition dialogue, key gaps in managing nutrition were underscored, like food quality and quantity, food safety, and culture.
Before releasing the variety of food, 1, is it palatable? 2, is it nutritious? 3, has that food gone to the laboratory to test if there are those substances which cause cancer? Is it cancer-free?
The Uganda Demographic Health Survey report of 2020 indicated a reduction in the stunting from 29% to 26% in the last 5 years. The stunted growth is also associated with the consumption of food that has aflatoxins, mainly cereals. The Commissioner of Food and Nutrition Security at the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries, Alex Bambona, says aflatoxins has health issues and also partly associated to stunted growth among children.
You call it aflatoxin. It is carcinogenic. It's a very key carcinogenic agent and associated with liver cancer. And so many other things, including even reduction of fertility in women and men. So many who are still in the production cycle, be aware. So you can feel trouble if you take aflatoxin contaminated food.
Dr. Juliet Chigozi, the Dean, Makerere University School of Food, Technology and Bioengineering, says research on nutrition should be enhanced on a multi-sectorial approach so as to focus on particular challenges. According to Florence Wasima, the President of Nutrition Society Uganda, a strong policy on nutrition should be put in place and incorporated into the curriculum to aid in defining the implementation models.
The public, as the Nutrition Society of Uganda, as the youth, we would appreciate the government giving us the guidelines, telling us this is a number of five years, this is a number of years, let's focus on this and address it and move on. And that will help us to actually achieve the SDGs.
The multi-stakeholders nutrition dialogue is expected to come up with recommendations for nutrition policy formulation. Susan Naonga, reporting for UBC TV.
The ambassador of Italy to Uganda, His Excellency Marone Massoni, has called upon the agriculturalists in Uganda to optimize Italy's high-quality agricultural machinery to harness the full potential of its agricultural sector. This was in preparation for the forthcoming International Agricultural and Gardening Machinery Exhibition organized by Fuda Unakoma to be held in Bologna from the 6th to the 10th of November 2024.
In a bid to bolster agricultural productivity in Uganda, the ambassador of Italy to Uganda, His Excellency Mauro Massoni, has emphasized the importance of adopting high-quality agricultural machinery. His remarks come ahead of the highly anticipated International Agriculture and Gardening Machinery Exhibition to take place in Bologna, Italy.
Uganda is a country where agriculture and farming have a crucial role and where the mechanization and technological innovation in agriculture represent one of the main priorities of the government. I'm very proud to say that Italy is a leading country in the field of agricultural machineries.
The upcoming AMAN trade show is poised to be a significant gathering, bringing together agricultural stakeholders, farmers and consumers. Feda Nakoma, the organizer of the exhibition, says it aims to showcase cutting-edge agricultural technology and networking within the industry.
Introducing agricultural mechanization, you do not only increase yields, you can reduce the agriculture inputs like seeds, fertilizers and chemicals, and you can also preserve the soil. Within the show we have 5 showcases. Starting from the left, EMA Componenti, dealing with the components, representing more or less 1/3 of the show. EMA Digital, launched the last edition 2022, dealing with all electronic and digital applications.
Uganda's participation in this exhibition will help pave the way for a more prosperous and sustainable future for its agriculture sector and rural communities alike.
A lot of fruit here is going to be wasted, it's not to be sold, it's not going to be processed, and the cost of the product, of the agricultural product, if you do not add any kind of value, is quite low.
However, Ugandan farmers are still puzzled with importation of this machinery from where it's manufactured. They want the Italian manufacturers to open up stores within the country for easy accessibility.
The factory may tell me I have to wait for 6 months.
You to operate out of Italy.
Mechanized agriculture offers numerous benefits, including increased land productivity, reduced labor requirements, and improved crop quality. Irene Faith Nantongo, Mary Namukosi, UBC News.
Now, according to the Justice Needs and Satisfaction Survey Report 2024 launched by the Hague Institute for Innovation of Law in partnership with Uganda's Justice, Law and Order sector, only 10% of Uganda's population seeks resolution for their legal problems through courts of law. This stark statistic underscores a significant gap in the acquisition of justice for citizens.
The report aims at identifying the various legal problems expressed by Ugandans and how the justice, law and order sectors have played their part to address such issues. The survey, conducted between September and October 2023, sampled 6,300 randomly selected Ugandans across the country. It revealed a concerning increase in legal problems, rising from 88% in 2016 to 95% presently, with 84% reported in 2020. Among the prevalent legal problems affecting Ugandans are land disputes at 42%, neighbor conflicts 42%, crime at 39%, family matters 37%, and domestic issues at 33%. The report attributes this surge partly to the repercussions of the COVID-19 crisis and the subsequent economic downturn.
I think the focus should be on having justice resolution mechanisms and justice service providers, whether that's in the formal system or somewhere else. So people should be able, when they are dealing with, let's say, a land dispute, let's say they own a piece of land and somebody comes and says, I actually own this land.
Dr. Flavia Nzeja, who launched the report, emphasized the imperative for jealous sectors to bolster the use of alternative dispute resolution mechanisms to extend justice accessibility to Ugandans.
In developed countries like United States, they resolve their matters by alternative dispute resolution more than 90%. Now for us here, I think through school we're taught how how not to resolve disputes by other means. Otherwise, I think if we embrace the alternative dispute resolution, as we have started, because as I mentioned, we have a policy now.
Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs Norbert Mao underscored the necessity of public awareness and law reform efforts to ensure a comprehensive understanding of justice.
When you choose to go to court, one party will lose. So many citizens go to court, but they think that both sides should win, which is an impossibility. Lawyers should know that they are not parties to the case. Even the courts are not parties to the case. We should encourage mediation. You bring parties together and they talk about the problem.
Minister Mao expressed optimism that the issues raised in the report can be tackled by implementing a universal standard approach to addressing citizens' grievances within the justice sector.
We, the people in the justice, law and order sector, are criticized. We brush off the criticism by claiming that this is our country, this is Uganda, we have problems. But in reality, we should have a standard to which we should aspire. We should not be dismissive and say, this is Africa. So we cannot be having the most expensive watches, but then when it comes to questions of justice, then we don't want universal standards.
While some achievements were noted in compiling the report, challenges persist, as highlighted by Karin Boven, the ambassador of Netherlands to Uganda.
It is really encouraging to also see all of the justice leaders and stakeholders across the ecosystem coming together to look at what the data findings are saying. So we're taking really a lot of encouragement from seeing you all in the room and looking forward to hearing what emerges in terms of how to take the data forward into action.
The Justice Needs and Satisfaction Report was launched under the theme of ensuring people-centered justice in Uganda, emphasizing the urgency of making justice accessible to all citizens. Rebecca Nantongo, Deborah Namamunde, UBC News. That number has doubled.
Now, like we had earlier mentioned that in our breaking news this evening, we have a new cabinet list, and it was issued in a statement today, issued by virtue of the authority vested in the President of Uganda by Articles 102, Section 2, 108, Section 2, 108A, Section 1 of the of the 1995 Constitution of Uganda. There has been a slightly amended list of cabinet ministers that has been published. Now, most of the top cabinet posts, including the vice president, a prime minister, and some others, do remain intact. Now, some of the notable changes in this, for example, like I did say, the vice president is still intact. First and second deputy prime minister is still intact. The prime minister as well is also intact. But now if we can take a look at some of the notable changes in the cabinet. Honorable Peter Lokoris, who has been the State Minister for Mineral Development, is now been taken to the Ministry of Karamoja Affairs. We also do see Honorable Jacob Oboth Maxton from State Minister of Defense now becoming a full Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs. We see Dr. Omona Kenneth, who has been the Principal Private Secretary of the President, now being appointed as Minister of State of the Office of the Prime Minister of Northern Uganda. A new entrant is Honorable Wamala Nambozo Florence, who is woman MP for Sironko District, now taking on the office of Minister of State, Office of the Prime Minister, Karamoja. Another, we see Honorable Sarah Nyirabatsitsi Mateke taking on Ministry of State for Defense and Veteran Affairs. We also see a new entrant, a woman MP Kitgum, that is Honorable Lillian Abe, who is also new to the cabinet, now taking on Minister of State, Office of the Prime Minister, Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, who replaces Esther Anyakun, who has now been reinstated as minister, who has been now put up as Minister of State for Gender, Labour and Social Development under the Employment and Industrial Relations. Another new entrant is the female youth MP, that's Honorable Nyamutoro Fiona, who is now Minister of State for Energy and minerals development under minerals. And a new entrant here that seems to be exciting everyone right now. That is Mr. Balam Barugahara, who now takes on Minister of State for Gender, Labour and Social Development under the Youth and Children Affairs. Another new entrant is former Chief of Defence Forces General Wilson Mbasu Mbadi, who now takes on the Ministry of State for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives under Trade. Now, looking at the senior presidential advisors, we do see Honorable Vincent B. Sempija. Another senior presidential advisor is Honorable Quetrin Grace Freedom. Another is Honorable Wanyoto Mutende. And then we also see Honorable Harriet Ntabazi also being a senior presidential advisor. Another interesting one here is this is Asio Omaswa, who takes on the Principal Private Secretary. Now, this is all signed by the President himself, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. the signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting it. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
The government of Uganda and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics is calling upon all stakeholders such as the chief administrative officers, city mayors, resident city commissioners, city clerks, city and division councillors, wards and LC chairpersons, as well as the residents and business communities to cooperate with the UBOS field teams as we embark on advanced preparations to conduct the National Population and Housing Census on the 10th of May 2024. The census will be a 10-day exercise to obtain statistical data and information that will be used for planning and policy formulation, including information on 1. How many we are, 2. Where we are, 3. How we are living, 4. What we own, and 5. Where we access services from. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has now started listing of households and mapping in the 11 cities of Arua, Fort Portal, Gulu, Hoima, Jinja, Lira, Mbale, Masaka, Mbarara, Soroti, and in the Greater Kampala comprising of Kampala, Wakiso, and Mukono districts. For more information, please call 0755 342 128 or 0773 342 128. This message is brought to you by the Executive Director and Census Commissioner, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Census 2024. It matters to be counted.
Are you planning or in the process of traveling abroad for work? Using irregular channels to find and travel for work abroad often seems cheaper and faster, but you risk being trafficked, mistreated, or forced to do work you did not agree to. Using proper channels is safer, offers more protection, and better access to support services when problems arise. Do not be deceived. Choose the proper channels. Always verify all information before traveling abroad for work by contacting the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, your local district labour office or DSOS office. You can also visit EEMIS website on eemis.mglsd.go.ug. This message is brought to you by the International Labour Organization with support from the Government of Switzerland.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still with us. Now, in more news this evening, Uganda's Civil Aviation Safety and Security Oversight Agency has significantly enhanced national safety protocols, resonating with the NRM's manifesto vision for superior aviation standards. This advancement has undoubtedly catalyzed increased activity at Entebbe International Airport, instilling confidence in safety among passengers and airlines alike.
Before the agency was set up at Kasoa, most partner states were performing below the EI score.
After underperforming in safety standards, the government established Civil Aviation and Security Oversight Agency to enforce aviation regulations.
We have an aerodrome and ground aids aspect. We have flight operations also in check. So there are all these different aspects that we as an agency ensure that regulations are drafted and promulgated so that when Uganda is audited, we check all those areas.
Subsequent enforcement has elevated the country's safety standards, now in harmony with the NRM's manifesto's objectives for aviation excellence.
Uganda also had its safety audit last year. They scored, we'll have to check, but it was, I think, about 72%, thereabout. Between 72 and 75, I will need to check the numbers. Yes, so we have successfully seen partner states. As partner states that we have assisted, they have performed very well.
The enhancement of safety standards has significantly bolstered confidence among both passengers and airlines, ensuring a secure and reliable aviation experience.
The air navigation systems are in check. You ensure that the personnel are trained. You ensure that the aerodrome, the ground aids, from the time someone gets onto into the airstrip, they know for a fact that Uganda has their safety standards in check.
Experts warn that without improved safety standards reflected in audit scores, Uganda risks economic repercussions as airlines may avoid the country's airspace.
If we do not score the minimum score, we end up getting a safety concern, which is published, which implies that ICAO will inform all the other member states that, oh, by the way, Uganda has failed in this area, there's a safety concern. And then that's how you find airlines stop flying here.
The surge in operations at Entebbe International Airport, which has fortified Uganda's tax revenue by reinforcing safety trust among passengers and airlines, validates the creation of the Civil Aviation Safety and Oversight Agency after the integration of East African Community. Marion Awori and Joseph Okow for UBC.
Amidst the hard economic situation in the country, many people can hardly find what to eat, especially in the ghettos of Kampala. With a view of helping the Muslim communities in Rubaga and Makindye divisions, Yellow Power Movement has donated food items to people in areas of Ndeba and Katwe. Take a look.
Khalad from Turkey, the Young Power Movement has donated items worth millions of money to the Muslim communities in Sike village in Rubaga division, as well as Katwe slum dwellers in Makindye division. Among the food items distributed include posho, rice, sugar, cooking oil, beans, among others. Justus, the spokesperson for YPA, says they have done this to help those Muslims in the slums that can hardly get to break their fasts with.
To help our brothers and sisters come out of their fasting successfully.
He appealed to those that can afford to always prioritize people in the ghetto since they lack the basic needs in life.
A spiritual stuff, more people believe when they fast. They fast, they're helped by God, and many people would love to fast, but some failed because of lack of what to use. So now Hanifa Khalad came in to help these people who have the will to fast, but they cannot help themselves after the fast.
The beneficiaries expressed gratitude towards these well-intentioned people for supporting them.
Thank you for your support. Thank you for giving us things for Ramadan. May God bless you. Other people or other organizations see from your power and also support us.
Yellow Power Movement is a community-based organization that toils to change lives of people living in ghettos. I'm Navka Farida and Mike Wakablindi.
All right, now UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return with more stories after these messages.
Ebiseera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu, kano kalipagano ka bidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka siripsi. Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu eya Uganda.
March is the month of film magic as the Uganda Communications Commission brings you the regional film competition. Experience the excitement across Uganda. Northern region in Moroto from the 4th to the 8th of March. Eastern region in Jinja from the 11th to the 15th of March. Central region in Mityana from the 18th to the 22nd of March. Western region in Kasese from the 24th to the 27th of March. Come and watch some of the best films made by your very own creative minds on their way to stardom. Follow and support the different nominees as they battle for top honors in each regional film competition. The winners will walk away with prestigious awards and exciting prizes. The regional film competition is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission, increasing diversity of Ugandan content.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth or from just the Nile.
We are the same people, and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Ham Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko Pamoja?
March is the month of film magic as the Uganda Communications Commission brings you the regional film competition. Experience the excitement across Uganda. Northern region in Moroto from the 4th to the 8th of March. Eastern region in Jinja from the 11th to the 15th of March. Central region in Mitiana from the 18th to the 22nd of March. Western region in Kasese from the 24th to the 27th of March. Come and watch some of the best films made by your very own creative minds on their way to stardom. Follow and support the different nominees as they battle for top honors in each regional film competition. The winners will walk away with prestigious awards and exciting prizes. The regional film competition is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission, increasing diversity of Ugandan content.
Welcome back from that break, and now with more breaking news this evening. Dokolo Woman Member of Parliament results are just in, and we see UPC's Sarah Aguti emerging as winner, and that is with 23,044 votes. Now we will be giving you more of the results, of course, in tomorrow's bulletins or in our subsequent bulletins as well. Sports, the 22nd edition of the Corporate League has been launched, and it's starting this weekend at the prestigious Makerere University Kampala Sports Grounds. We have the details.
Special this year's Corporate League is planned to be bigger and better, with number of companies grown and reward to respective gender most valuable players a brand new car.
The chairman said there was a survey that the people who won, they were getting certificates, they were getting small things. So this time around we came with a bang and he said, like, we're going to give the MVP, the male MVP and female MVP, a car. As nail bearers, we have benefited from the Corporate League in that we get to bond with our teammates. We also bond people with our colleagues in the corporate world, where we play against each other. It's a good way of bonding, also for exercising for us.
How to secure the most valuable player award that earns one a car is explained by the Corporate League board chairperson Dennis Mbide.
We have so many sports disciplines: football, netball, volleyball, pool, swimming, and all others. Athletics, this year we'll do athletics. So the most valuable player will be picked as a player who has really been part of those sports as a starting point, but also shown other values that are corporate, like teamwork, timekeeping, discipline, smartness. So with that, the technical team will come up with really a proper procedure on how to choose the most valuable player. But it's going to depend on how active you are, the various games. We have players who play in various games, you know. I think that could be a first criteria.
There will be contests in several sports disciplines like football, athletics, netball, pool, volleyball, and swimming. This year's edition comes with the addition of the kids section that will be themed as I Play You Play and targets encouraging parents to attract their children for continuity's sake. More than 50 companies, including Nile Special, Centenary Bank and Hotel Africana, will take part in this year's corporate league that also has a corporate social responsibility initiative. The corporate league that runs on the theme of bringing communities together through sport will this year tag along, Everyone is a Winner.
Well, UBC News Tonight has come to an end, and we do thank you so much for your company this evening. We do leave you with Ainabiona Jasper, who will be giving us a weather forecast for tomorrow. I'm Lorraine Masika Kazimoto. Have yourself a good night.
Welcome to our daily weather updates from the Uganda National Meteorological Authority. I'm Jasper Ainabiona. In the morning, some parts of the country received light rains, while later in the afternoon, we saw development of cloudy conditions across different parts of the country together with sunny intervals. And for the satellite interpretation, we still have some depressions over the Indian Ocean that are sucking away the moisture content from us, and that's the reason we still have a reduction in rainfall. Though some parts of the country receive light rains as a result of the local effects from Lake Victoria Basin. Let's see how tomorrow it's likely to be. In the morning across Kampala, we are anticipating light rains together with Masaka, and the rest sunny intervals will prevail. For the eastern part of the country, we still anticipate light rains across Jinja as well as Toro, and salty partly cloudy conditions will be expected. For the western part of the country, we still anticipate sunny conditions together with partly cloudy conditions that will prevail for some time. Northern parts of the country, these conditions will still be the same, where we're likely to see the whole of northern parts of the country having sunny intervals together with cloudy conditions. In the afternoon, we are likely to have light rains across Kampala with a high of 28 degrees Celsius. Masaka, light rains expected, while in Nakasongola 30 degrees are expected with light rains. Eastern parts of the country, we still anticipate light rains across Jinja with a high of 32 degrees Celsius, while Toro also light rains are expected, apart from Soti, where we are likely to have sunny intervals with a high of 35 degrees Celsius. For the western parts of the country, in the afternoon, we are anticipating light rains the entire region, and temperatures will be around 26 degrees Celsius, especially in Kigezi Highland, while in Masindi, 32 degrees Celsius. For the northern parts of the country, in the afternoon, we still anticipate sunny conditions that are likely to prevail with cloudy conditions, and temperatures will range from 33 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius. For those who are traveling across the globe, we are anticipating sunny intervals across Cairo with a high of 23 degrees Celsius, and for Dubai, partly cloudy conditions will be expected with a high of 30 degrees Celsius, and for London, cloudy conditions are expected with a high of 11 degrees Celsius. Thank you so much for watching our daily weather forecast. For more information, our website is always open. Good evening.